Hey ho out there, YouTubers. We are the 15th of April, 2025. Can you believe it? Wow. You know, our president's out there kicking butt, taking names, approval rating, doing good. We got the EU now who's kind of bending the knee, suspending all of their tariffs and stuff against the United States for 90 days so that they can make a deal with the United States. So we're doing good in that perspective. But we have a big, major, huge problem, as many of you who's already subscribed and has been to the channel, thank you so much. If you're new here, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. I've been putting on there, subscribe, like, and share if you dare. And the reason why I do that is because this channel is not for the weak-minded and the faint of heart. So with Dave Taylor, whenever he ran and he said, you know, that he liked Trump and he was going to do, you know, what we the people wanted, and but he was just right there along with Trump. Well, being along with Trump means that you're along with the people, because like I've said many a times here, it's not that, you know, the people are chasing Trump. It's Trump aligns with the people and what they want, okay, and what we want done. When somebody comes along and they say, hey, you know what, I see you have a job there, and my skills happen to go right along with that. Okay, then why wouldn't you hire them? That's essentially what we've done, right, with getting Trump in there. Okay, it's because he's like-minded. We don't need a king. We don't need a ruler. And I don't need a leader. I've already got my leader. You don't need anything else except for the Lord as your Savior. That's it. Okay. But when it comes time to getting something done on earth and through the devil, who is the prince and the power of the air, because we breathe air here, okay, then God sends really special people. And do I believe that Trump is really special people? Absolutely. Yep. Now, was it easy getting here? Absolutely not. I'm sure all of you remember the debacle, because we're still living with all of the pain from all of the loved ones that's no longer with us. And maybe those that's still with us now through this 19, you know, man-made garbage that they put at us and stuff. There's just so much going on in the world right now, and it's hard to like pin down and keep up with all of it. And most people, they don't. That's why I say, if you're faint of heart, this ain't the channel for you, because we're not, you know, trying to see if we can do parkour up 15 stories and jump from one building to the other, and, you know, light things on fire and watch them blow up, or you know, all this amazing stuff to watch, right? But how does it benefit? How does it benefit you or I? And especially if you have children and you love those children, you know, this is what, unfortunately, that we have to do, is but at the same time, fortunately, that we get to do, which is pay attention to what these people are doing that we're putting in there. Now, are we not watching? Are we not paying attention about? In the past, admittedly so. I mean, even whenever I woke up, or I thought I woke up and I thought I was paying attention, I voted for Obama twice, people, twice. Ashamed of that now. But here's the thing: how could you go any other direction? Because, you know, the internet and stuff was there, but, you know, when you'd come in, as most people, you know, you'd turn on the TV, and that's where you'd get most of your. And that's why whenever our president gets, as soon as he just introduced his granddaughter on Air Force One, and he said, "Go ahead, here's the corrupt news," or whatever. And I thought that was brilliant, because it's true. It's true. The corrupt news is not news. Well, I guess maybe it is news, because if you consider the entertainment, because if you like to be entertained with tragedy, death, and destruction, there you go. That's the media's for you, you know. But not here. If you're here, it means that you actually have a backbone and that you genuinely care about not just America. This is the whole world. Because as we can tell now, whatever we're doing, the rest of the world's affected because all the tariffs went out and everybody, you know, pretty much hating on that and growling and complaining. And at the same time, I've seen people, and I've talked to some of you out there, that even though back in the day, we'd say, man, wouldn't it be nice if somebody would do something and we'd stop getting, you know, done this way. And so, well, now that it's happened, these same people, some of them, not all, some of them, but they're like, man, you know, these tariffs are wrecking, you know, the stock market and so on and so forth. But the majority out there, thank the good Lord above, and that's how we got our president where he's at now, is because we had our head on straight and we could see past all of the confusion and stuff. Now, the tariffs are working and they're doing their job. It's all great stuff because we've been getting ripped off for years and years, but no longer. So I really believe that Trump and the administration is doing what we, the people, asked for him to do. So more power to that. Now, with that being said, though, when you have somebody running for a position in government, and like I said, you know, we are paying attention. And I paid attention whenever Dave Taylor, here in Ohio, he was running for a 2nd district. Okay, well,
are you on it?
You know, he was saying that he aligned with Trump and that, you know, he was a businessman and that, you know, he could do the job and he'd be, this is Mr. Dave Taylor here. And, you know, back then I was really, really confused. I really was. And I just recently have really straightened out the some of the confusion, but a big, huge part of it that had to get straightened out. Okay, he's claiming, and now he ran for, and I voted for him to be represented of 2nd District of Ohio, right? Okay, you can't get a hold of him. You can't talk to him. Matter of fact, he's went into hiding. He's hiding. Now, why would he hide like that? I mean, Trump, 24/7, you know, he's right up, he's even holding the cabinet meetings live and everything else right there. He's going around the table asking Cash Patel and different, all of them, about what's going on in their department, what's being achieved. And they're right there. They're not Bob duck and weaving and everything, okay? But this dude here, okay, let's just share a little tidbit here. He's not representing we the people. He ran for representative, and we thought that he understood that he was, you know, but in fact, he done the old switcheroo, or did he? Or is he just playing the same thing that's been going on and on and on? Yes, he is. Now, what am I talking about? Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Okay, but I think before we do, we're going to show you something here. So before I call, I always try to, because it's pretty much a waste of time, you know, and the time being wasted is he is wasting all of your time and my time. Okay, but hang with me because this gets really, really, really bad good. Okay, so I'm looking up, you know, Dave Taylor. Like if you go to, what is it?
Taylor.house.gov.
Taylor.house.gov. Okay, so we go there and we're looking at this. And what did we find, Noam?
It says that on April 2nd of 2025, the Chillicothe Herald did an article about U.S. Representative Dave Taylor meeting with Donald Trump.
Okay, so supposedly They're covering it where Dave Taylor had a meeting with Donald Trump. When was that?
April 2nd.
April 2nd. So, on the tariff day, when all the tariffs and stuff, what did Trump call it? Liberation Day or something? Okay, they had a meeting, right? And even the Circleville Herald says that they went to...
Well, that's where the problem lies that you're getting at. See, on Taylor.house.gov, they have it as U.S. Representative Dave Taylor meets with Trump. But when you go to look it up on the Circleville Herald, you can't find the article that they're claiming that's there.
Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so now what I want to do is show everybody like what it is that we're looking at here and read it.
U.S. Representative Dave Taylor meets with Trump April 2nd, 2025. And again, this is on taylor.house.gov. And it's supposed to have been an article by the Circleville Herald.
Okay, and whenever you go to the Circleville Herald...
I couldn't find it.
Nothing, right?
Yeah.
So we're actually going to call right now the Circleville Herald and look this and see if we can talk to somebody, because maybe we're just overlooking it or something, but we'll be right back.
Thank you for calling the Circleville Herald. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you know your party's 6-digit extension, please dial it now. For questions about your print or digital subscription, please press 1. For classified advertising, press 2. For display advertising, press 3. For the general manager and ad director, press 4. For the newsroom, press 5. For the sports, please press 6. To hear this menu again, please press 9. Available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone. Press the pound.
All right, well, we'll try again here. We'll be right back.
Please press 6.
We pressed 4 this time. Let's see if we can talk to somebody.
Good afternoon, Chillicothe Herald. How may we help you?
Hi, how are you today?
It's not Friday.
I understand that. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Lisa. Who am I speaking
Hey,
to?
Lisa. Lisa, this is James Preston. I am actually calling because I was trying to find an ad that you did with Dave Taylor, or an article, Dave Taylor, when he met with Donald Trump. Am I overlooking that?
I don't remember, but that sounds like editorial. It doesn't sound like an ad.
Okay. Do you? Can you tell me where I could find that at? Well, see, here's what it says. Go ahead, no.
On Dave Taylor's website, it says that you guys did some kind of article where U.S. Representative Dave Taylor meets with Trump, and that was on April 2nd.
And I would just really enjoy, putting that on my channel on YouTube. I wanted to put...
That I don't know if you can do that or not. I'm going to send you to editorial. He would know if he did it, and then he'd also know if you can use our article.
All right, thank you so much.
Sure. Hold on a sec.
It's unbelievable. The whole world's gone mad, I'm telling you. It's incredible. So your news outfit, you don't want your news being shared.
Hello?
Hello, who am I speaking with?
This is Dave Hornick.
Hey, Dave, real nice to talk to you. My name's James Preston. Hey, Dave, we was actually calling, we're trying to find a an article or whatever you might have done on Dave Taylor and Donald Trump on the 2nd of April?
Yeah, it was on the newspaper. It was also on our online edition. What do you need, or what do you looking
Well,
for?
I was actually
Can't
just
find
trying to find out how to find it because we can't find it.
Hold on a second. Let me put you on speakerphone here.
Oh, that's fine. I was actually wanting to share it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Where are you with Dave Taylor's organization, or?
I am really glad to say no.
Oh, you oppose him then?
I oppose him greatly. Yes, because he ran under the pretense that he was going to do for we the people, and I voted for him. Of course, and as most of the people that I know, and my listeners even, and then as soon as he gets in there, he says that he won't give an interview to, who is that?
The Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Enquirer actually has been trying to get an interview and stuff with him for, and I, you know what? Why is a guy that's in government hiding and not wanting to, say all that he can for the district to bring in, business or to discourage bad business or to, whatever the will of the people happens to be, And, I am actually, I've found out something that is mind-blowingly horrible and detrimental to we the people, and that is that we have no voice when you call a representative. That representative is supposed to take our message to Congress. And in fact, you'll never talk to a representative that you voted for. Instead, you talk to a mechanical answer machine, or you talk to a human answer machine who will hang up on you if you tell them what you want and ask for them to show that they actually delivered your message that you want to the representative. So there's no...
I hear you. Getting a hold of people these days is really quite the trick here. I went on to our website here, and I was able to pull this. I can email you. Do you want it as a Word document or GDoc?
I'm not real for sure. Give me just a second here.
Be a relative of Dave Taylor's working it, so it's somebody who's in public relations working for Congressman Taylor.
So you guys didn't actually write the article. It was sent to you by Rebecca Taylor, which is possibly a relative of Dave Taylor. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I'm basing that on the same name.
Yeah.
So maybe
Okay.
yes, maybe no, but
Yeah,
when I read the article, it's called the byline. Who gets credit for it?
I see.
I try to steal that whenever I can, put my name in there. But somebody else writes it, I have to be honest and give them the credit.
Yeah, it's kind of pesky, huh, Dave?
I know.
Hey.
Rules get in the way of my desire sometimes. I'm just joking.
How long you been doing that, Dave?
May 1st will be a year, so I've been less than a year on the job here.
Well, super cool, man. Really nice to talk to you for sure. If you got just a minute, I'm going to tell you, this is absolutely horrendous. What I have discovered, we are supposed to be able to call our representatives, but instead, I actually got a letter, and if you watch my channel, and you can find me, it's at King James Preston on YouTube. And a really easy way to find me, Dave, is James Preston. Hey, I like your hat. And that's because I was wearing Trump hats when it wasn't cool to wear a Trump hat, But when you call in, I've discovered that the ones running things is not even who you voted in there. Like Dave Taylor here, they're not running nothing. He's got a Kelly, what's her last name?
Faas. I'm not quite sure how to
Fess,
pronounce that.
Kelly Foss Fess or something like that. But she will tell you that she is working for Dave Taylor, and when she says she's working for Dave Taylor, she means Dave Taylor. And I said, "Oh, not we the people." And then she kind of backpedaled a little bit, but she's just tickled to death with her job. Dave Taylor has 4 offices, and applied millions of dollars into acquiring this position. He beat out 10 Republicans and a Democrat for this position, and I'm here to tell you, I kind of see how whenever you're throwing millions of dollars, it's the same way. Whenever, I can't remember the guy's name, but out of nowhere, he can't come out of California, unknown, and he beat out, and I wish I could remember that guy's. So the long story short, money, they bring a lot of money, and then they get whoever they want put in these positions. But Dave Taylor ran and said, well, that's your bed's flying apart, Dave. But he ran under that he was going to be transparent, so on and so forth. And now he's disappearing. And even as the Cincinnati Herald said, that they've been trying to get an interview with him, and he refuses every time. So this guy's gone dark. He doesn't want anything being known,
I live here in Pickaway County, and we have all kind of government agencies, the city council, the library board. All these organizations now have the ability for people to come and speak at their meetings.
Absolutely.
They will never answer any question you ask. Not only will they not answer a question, the school board meetings are the same way. Not only will they not answer your questions at the meeting, but they won't even take down your question and get back to you and answer at the next meeting. Now, sometimes they follow up with people directly. Like somebody asked the mayor if there was a rumor going around about how she wanted Circleville to be a sanctuary city. And I talked to her about that later and said, oh, well, I called that guy back and told him it was no. And I was like, well, Mayor, why didn't you tell everybody that, at the next meeting? I mean, at the meeting, which is televised here in Circleville, somebody got up and accused her of trying to make Circleville a sanctuary city. It was just a rumor. And so she got back and says, no, but why didn't she at the spot or later on, a week later, go back and say, that's not true? So I think along the lines of what you're saying, I think that you would be very good to press an issue like in the state of Ohio, if you're a school board and somebody comes up and asks you a question, you should have to reply to that question at the next meeting.
Absolutely. 100%.
I think that would be a good legislation for you to now, that's not U.S., that's not Dave Taylor, but some local politician, whoever your local state senator or state rep is. I think that'd be a good thing for them to put into law, that they have to answer the questions.
Well, you know what? Why do we even have to make it a law for something that's so obvious, right? That's what happened to us already, is we've allowed this yo-yo to go down to the bottom and spin so long that if we really don't do something, we're not going to have enough momentum to even get back up. Now, Trump said that he not only just wanted to make America great again, but he wanted it to soar to new heights, like above and beyond. And I understand that. But how are you going to do that? And Dave, I'm going to tell you the answer to fixing the problem that you just told me that you're having there. Okay, first of all, we're having that across the United States as a whole, period. When you call any representative, what I get whenever I call them is they'll say, well, what district are you in? And at first I was playing the game, I was like, well, I'm here in Ohio. They're like, oh, you're out of our district. And they would hang up.
Okay? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely correct about that.
But I told them, I said, isn't this funny that, actually I didn't tell them that way. I said, look, here's the deal. Okay, if you guys screw up your voting in whatever state that you're in, that messes with my vote that I put in. And I'm in a different state. So don't tell me that you're a representative for some other state, because these representatives, I mean, I sometimes it has to be clarified. It's just in the name, representative. You're representing the people. You're supposed to be. How are you going to represent the people if you're not even getting the message? To clear up what you're talking about, like going in and why they believe that they don't have to answer is because they've gotten away with it so long. And I've got people here shaking their head, yes, at both of us. But we have to fix it and make these people understand who it is, in fact, that they're working for. And when you call in, it's they take it upon themselves to take notes or not to take notes. And usually it's the latter. They do not take notes. And if you ask them to read back a message whenever you call in and you tell them, okay, like go secure the border, and you give them, everything that you want taken to Congress, okay, and then you say, now, can you tell me what it is? I'm not kidding you. Watch my channel, Dave. You will see some of the dumbest, here's something that'll blow your mind, Dave. Check this out. How much do you think Dave Taylor makes a year?
What is it, 150, 175,000, something like that?
Yeah, okay, close enough. It's 172, I think, thousand. But anyway, you're right in the ballpark. Now, how much do you think the human answer machines, the ones that's actually running things, okay, because we know it's not Dave Taylor, because you never talk to Dave Taylor, you never talk to any of the rest of them. I don't care, name somebody. Jim Jordan, all of them, across the board. You'll never talk to them. Okay, now I'm not attacking Jim Jordan. He's always busy. And well, I guess I am, because there should be somebody there to actually answer the phone and answer questions and get your message, whatever. But whenever
here's what I do sometimes. If you go to these U.S. congressmen or even state reps and go to their website, they'll have a contact us button, and they'll ask you to give your name and everything, and then you can write down what your point is. And sometimes that's better because they can see what it is you're asking about, and they can more easily just pass that on to the congressman for review, stuff like that. So, but you're right, that they don't always get back to you. But that's just another, rather than calling a person and talking to a person, that's just another option you have if you're interested.
I appreciate that, Dave. When you call in, I challenge you to do this. And if you look on my channel, you'll see where I just put out a short on YouTube. And it actually, I put a challenge out to anybody out there. Call and put out some kind of a demand that you want taken to Congress. But then, if you don't get hung up on, because you probably will, ask them to repeat it back to you. They'll mumble some garbage or something, and if it's just one thing, somebody can hold on to one little thought long enough to kind of buffalo you into thinking that they actually listened, right? But in fact, if you hang up and call back, there's no way to verify that our message went to where it's supposed to go. And here's the thing, Dave, it's not something that we're asking for. It's not something we should have to ask for. It's not up to them to decide whether or not to do it. This is their job to do, is to take our message. And how did that even happen anyway? I want something wrote in somewhere to where it said, because at no place, Dave, does it say that you have to talk to somebody on the phone, an answer machine, and then the representative, and then their argument is they say, well, there's so many people, how could he answer to 10? Not my problem. It is my problem at the same time. But so the way I fixed that problem is I allowed you to have human answer machines to take care of that. Okay? Now, you have to make sure that the people that I employ, and they're actually making $74,000 themselves for hanging up on we the people. Watch some of my stuff. You'll be absolutely blown away at the level of stupidity. And when you ask them something, they're in control, because I've been hung up on for no reason other than asking them to read me back what it is that my message was. And they'll hang up on me. And they will tell you up front, because I've asked them this, what's your guys' way that you deal with hanging up on people? Are you allowed to just hang up on people? Oh, no. If you're not cussing, then we can't. We're not allowed to hang up on you. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, can you tell me what happens to somebody when they do hang up on you? Because see, this is the important part, and Dave. It's like, okay, you're saying that it's illegal to do something, but then once you do something, then what? This river that I'm in right here is the deepest part of the river. And if we don't get this stopped, we're done. Because this literally is the voice of the American people being silenced. And it all comes down to that human answer machine. And
listen, I sent you the email. You can check your email, make sure you got it there.
I got it.
Yeah, we got it. And we appreciate that so much, Dave.
One of the things I'm pushing is encouraging people who are Republicans and Democrats alike to to find out who their voting precinct central committee member is. Now, if you're an independent voter, you're not a member of a political party, you do not have a central committee member, because these are politicians who represent the political party in your voter precinct, and then they represent the voters at the county level, and then they affect a lot of the politicians and the politics of your county.
Right.
But people don't know about people have never heard of what the central committee is. And so I bet if you could do a show on this, you could ask people to call in or write you if they know who their central committee member is, if they're a Republican or a Democrat. I bet you over half don't know who it is.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really glad that you said that, because I just recently have realized, upon talking to a few different people who recognize me, and they come up and they're like, hey, I seen you on YouTube, and and we get to talking, and I'll ask them, I'll say, well, who's your representative? And they'll say, well, we don't know. And I say, well, how come you haven't called in? And this was my message before, but now, Dave, we can't call a representative. It's not going to do any good, because
this is the smallest, most local representative you have. This is somebody who lives in your neighborhood, and there's about one central committee member for every 200 registered voters in your voter precinct.
Okay, now
So this is a person that you should be able to talk with and get a hold of.
okay, so somebody should call their local what?
Central Committee.
Okay, Central Committee.
Elected member.
Committee. Elected.
Member. So you live in Jackson County, right?
Member. Yes.
So are you a registered Republican or a registered Democrat, or neither?
I'm registered as a Republican.
Okay, so then you have a Jackson County Republican Central Committee member that is elected for your voter precinct.
Okay.
So you could look that up and find out who that is.
Okay, I most certainly will. Now, what
And
should...
you can talk to that person and try to get yourself invited to the next meeting of the Jackson County Republican Central Committee. See if you can attend. Here in Pickaway County, we're not even allowed to attend.
That's insane. That's insane.
How are they supposed to represent the people if the people can't even be heard? That's the same message that you're trying to get out, James, just on a different scale.
Yeah. Well, no.
And this is where I'd encourage you to start because, trying to reform the U.S. Congress is a big task, and I admire you, but I think this is very doable at your county level, that you could start a movement that you need to see if you can attend your Jackson County Republican Central Committee meeting. Look it up online, see when their meeting is, see if you can attend.
Okay. Well, now you know how all these committees are working. See, here's the big problem that you and I have, Dave, and the rest of us out here too, is that we know those committees, who the kind of people who's setting up there. We know that they're all in it together, and that anybody that walks through that door is just enemy number one.
Well, now here's the bigger problem. My opinion is this: that committee will have a mix of people who are trying to do the right thing and people who are in there who are, like you say, just good old boys, just trying to kick the can down the road and hold on to office and get jobs for their friends and family. So you have a mix of both. And that's the point, is that you need to get people involved so that they tip the scale and start electing people to your central committee who want to get things done.
Amen. You know what? Tucker Carlson just had on a gentleman that was saying the same thing, and I need to find that right quick.
I gotta go, but I'll give you one final thought.
All right,
okay?
please do.
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
When?
You ever see the movie Fight Club?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but isn't it when?
No, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah,
Remember that?
There you go. Yeah.
So the first rule of the Central Committee people, in my opinion, is they don't want anybody to know about it. So they don't even call themselves the Central Committee. They call themselves like Jackson County GOP or Jackson County Republican Party, which is not true, because the Republican Party is you.
Right.
You're the party. The reason they're set up by the Ohio Revised Code is what happens in your county if, like, you're a mayor in one of your city dies in office. Well, if that mayor is a Democrat, then the Jackson County Democrat Central Committee will name the replacement. That's why they exist.
Right.
And that's an important function. So that was set up by the Ohio Revised Code and also all 50 states. So this is how the political parties get organized. This is the lowest level. This is the grassroots.
Right.
So if you want to get people involved in grassroots politics, I would encourage you to find out about your Jackson County Republican and Democrat Central Committee and encourage people to attend and run for office and get involved.
Right.
You do not need $1 million to run for one of these seats, which is good.
Yeah, it don't hurt though.
Well, on that note, I'll concede that point. I'll concede that words of wisdom, and I gotta let you go.
Hey,
I got a paper to get out tomorrow. So.
Dave, thank you so much, really, for your time. I mean this. I really appreciate that. And in the meantime, please subscribe and check out what I'm doing. I think it sounds to me like you got common sense to go, and I think you would enjoy, watching what I'm saying and what I'm trying to get done here.
Okay, I'll check you out.
All right. Hey, God bless, Dave. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks so much. All right, bye. All right, really cool guy, man. Wow, like Dave. Dave, there you go. And he's with Circleville Herald. So we'll be right back. All right, we're gonna see if we can get a hold of Dave Taylor at the end of the day.
Please say the name of the United States Senator or Representative that you are trying to reach, or say, I'm not sure.
Dave Taylor.
Connecting you to the Office of Representative Dave Taylor.
Who am I speaking with?
This is AJ.
Hey, AJ. It's your buddy James
What's going on?
Preston. It's your buddy James Preston. Hey, I got a few things here that I'd like to not get delivered. I'm sure they won't get delivered because you guys don't like to take messages. But I see on Dave Taylor's house.gov thing here where it says what's it say? No,
About him meeting
it
with
says
that he met with Trump on April.
yeah, that he met with Trump
First.
on April 1st.
Let me see here. I know there was a day where freshman members of the GOP class went to the White House. I'm just pulling it up here.
Yeah, I'm not understanding why he's like not like wanting to answer questions and stuff. Why are you keeping him away from talking to the people?
Trying to see here. Okay, I've got that pulled up here with the president.
Okay. And where'd you find that at?
I just looked it up here.
Yeah, under what?
I just looked up Dave Taylor, President Trump, into Google here. And I see here there's an article from April 1st about the Chillicothe Herald.
Okay.
I believe it was on our official social medias.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to find out like what was the meeting about? What took place there? What's going on?
Well,
Because
so the freshman GOP class, so all the new members of the House that are Republicans, took a trip to the White House that day to meet the president.
okay, and so it was just a meet and greet then, right?
Honestly, Mr. President, I don't know how much FaceTime they got with the president. I know the entire class went, everybody went and took their picture with the president. I don't know how much time the president gave them in between their photo opportunities.
Okay. Well, so you don't know if Dave Taylor actually had any kind of time whatsoever to talk to. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Are you still having Dave Taylor to work on the Appalachian missing out on internet stuff?
Broadband.
Is that what you're having him work on now, AJ?
I'm not necessarily having him work on something specific, but rural broadband is a top priority for the congressman, yes.
Okay. So, if you wouldn't mind, what are you having to work on right now?
Well, I do know here on April 9th last week, we introduced the Bridging the Broadband Gap Act, which would allow states to take money they got from the BEAD program, which was this program that spent $40-some-odd billion, and the goal of that program was to connect people to broadband. And this bill that was introduced by Representative Taylor would change the program a little bit in the sense that it would allow states to use BEAD funds to pay for the cost of installing a satellite or a fixed wireless receiver, and it would help give service priority to counties in the bottom 50% of a state's per capita income. So that bill was introduced last week, designed to get some broadband infrastructure up and going and make it a little bit more affordable for folks.
Okay, and
let me see here, sorry, on this same vein, we also introduced the Expanding Appalachia's Broadband Access, which asks the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, to conduct a study about how capable low-orbit satellites could be in distributing broadband under the purview of the Appalachian Regional Commission. So it would basically the study would assess the capabilities of low-orbit satellites for business services to see if they can meet a business's needs for broadband in rural America.
Okay, but now, where is it that Appalachia actually? Where does it begin, and where does this like? Because I'm trying to figure out is like.
Yeah. Let me see here. There actually is a map that shows what the government considers to be Appalachia and what they don't consider to be Appalachia. So let me see here if I can get this to load for us.
Yeah, because
if you go to, I don't really know how to well, I guess I do know how to describe it. It basically, according to the way the Appalachia Regional Commission does it, is they determine Appalachia as kind of northeast Mississippi all the way through Alabama, through Georgia, up through West Virginia, southern Ohio, northeast Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and just a couple parts of New York State.
So who else are you having to work on it besides Dave Taylor?
Sorry, say that again?
Who else are you appointing to work on this?
Well, we don't really appoint people to work on that. We don't make appointments, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you're the one that determines whether or not my message even gets to Dave Taylor or not, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but we do take messages, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of confused by the question.
Well, it's not really a question. I'm really actually making a statement. What happens is I call in, and whoever decides for themselves whether or not they even want to take notes on what I even called in about, and they also decide when to end the phone call. So whenever we the people are calling in, you in fact are the ones that are running things, and you in fact are the one who is telling Dave Taylor what he's to do. You are, because it's not coming from we the people, because our message is not even getting to Dave Taylor. And furthermore, we know that Dave Taylor has representatives that's representing Dave Taylor, such as Kelly Hess or whatever her name. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, AJ.
Fass, F-A-S.
Fass, okay. He's got Kelly Fass who is representing and she absolutely adores and loves her job representing Dave Taylor. And, I tried to ask a few questions and stuff, and she didn't like that, and she hung up on me. So, once again, it's like what I'm working on right now, I don't care if you know it, or I know that, because, he's like, he got in office, Dave Taylor did, and now he doesn't even want to take no kind of, press meetings with the Cincinnati Herald or whatever, who's tried repeatedly to get interviews with him, and he keeps turning that down. So and what they don't understand is it's not really Dave Taylor that's deciding what happens. It's you, in fact. It's you and Kelly and the rest of the staffers, the ones that puts out the letters to people when he's supposed to be the one responding and stuff. So we know where the problem is now, and that's what I'm working on. Because like right now, I can't even call and get verification that any of my messages even got to Dave Taylor, because it begins and stops with you. And we're working on this. We're going to remedy this problem, because right now there's no place where I can go and I can find out, who am I talking with? AJ. Okay, what's his job title? What's his position? How long has he been there? What's his goal? Because you know what? Tucker Carlson, he just had a gentleman on there, and they nailed it. They said the right thing. You get these people that go in to these representatives, so-called representatives. They're representing their staffers is who they're representing, but the representatives, they get these staffers in there, and their goal is that they want to become something higher up. So they're just using that position so that they can get up there. They're not really trying to help the country, and that has to change. That's on Tucker Carlson. I'm sure you're aware of who that is, AJ, but you're welcome to look that up and find out. But they nailed it, because you guys are not understanding who it is that you're working for. You talk to us in the smarmiest way possible, and you guys are trained, and you're really good. And I don't know who's trained you yet, but we're going to find that out too, to avoid any direct questions and to put us off. But, I don't know where the hang up and stuff comes in without having some kind of a regulation that if you hang up on somebody for no good reason, like what follows that? What happens when you guys hang up on me, the people, that's been done repeatedly? So that's what I'm working on. And I'm just letting you know that we're working on.
All right. Well, I don't really have I don't have a follow up to or really a comment for you on what you're doing in your personal capacity there, Mr. Preston.
Yeah. How much is it that you make a year?
On it, I don't know if I have to disclose that. So
Well, it's already disclosed. You're making $74,000 a year.
I'm not going to comment, Mr. Preston, just because I don't know I don't know if I'm supposed to comment a lot. So I'm just not going to comment.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: you can look it up. It's supposed to be, unless the government is putting out false stuff, which could be, and more than likely is. Matter of fact, seeing how I said the word government in that sentence, right? But when we have people that don't even understand their position, what they're doing there, because the reason that you should be there is because you want to get that message. The most important thing in America is getting my message to Congress. It doesn't matter about Dave Taylor or anybody else. The most important thing is for my message to get through, or any American that calls in that wants something done. That's the most important thing. That's what your guys' job is. That's it. That's what you're supposed to do, is to make sure that message is handled with velvet gloves and guarded with the biggest, baddest weapons possible, if needed, to get these messages where they belong. And you cannot do that, and somebody cannot be a representative if they don't even hear from the people. And the very one stopping that from happening is you. And I have talked to other yous that whenever you call them and you ask them to repeat it, watch my channel, I'm sure you have. But if you've seen the one there, well, not the one of many maybe, you ask them to repeat back what it was that you called in about, and they act like they got one finger up their nose and the other one on their Red Bull, because they don't give a damn. Well, AJ, listen, as usual, I appreciate you getting to talk to me. And I see that it is after 5, and I appreciate your time staying over for me.
Of course. You have a good day, Mr. Preston.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
All right. So we just got to stay working on this. Noam, you was trying to show me something. What were you trying to show me there?
They had a thing a couple days ago where Republicans are moving to use $2 billion from the U.S. AID, however you want to say it,
right,
for veteran housing. So they're taking $2 billion from that.
To actually do something for veterans? Yeah, amen to that.
Wow. I was trying
Imagine
to
that.
I was trying to show you that.
No, that's good. But you know what? Here, as good as that is, I'm telling you, if we don't fix being able to call in and get this our message, like what we want done, look, you can't even be heard. You can't even be heard. They'll hang up on you. And even though he sat there, AJ, or anybody that you call in, they're on the phone and it's like, yes, Mr. Preston, yes, Mr. Preston, or whatever, however they treat you, I challenge you to do it, okay? And then when they hang up the phone, oh, so anyway, I was going out to dinner and I seen this one, talking to whoever the other staffer is, right? They don't care about us.
And when you were talking to him about the article that's not really an article, as we've seen with Dave, it was something that was sent to them that
talking to AJ, you mean?
No, when you were talking to Dave.
Oh, talking to, oh, yeah.
From the Circleville Herald?
Yeah.
Okay, what he sent is not what you were actually referring to, and AJ had no clue what you were referring to. Because
no, we got blew off. Didn't you notice that?
Well, like Dave was.
It's like, it was a meet and greet, right? Right?
Yeah, that's what he said, but that's not the case. What we got sent from Dave from the Circleville Herald is actually where Dave Taylor, supposedly, according to a Rebecca Taylor, who is the one that actually sent this information to the Circleville Herald.
Right.
She sent a picture of Dave Taylor with President Trump, and it says, Pickaway's U.S. Congressman Dave Taylor met with President Trump last week and thanked him for his work he has done to secure our nation's border, to lower taxes for American families, and...
Wait, now is this Taylor thanking Trump?
Yes. And make grocery prices more affordable. And then below that, it says expanding broadband access. And then this is where it goes into this bill that Dave Taylor supposedly put in front of Congress about the broadband thing.
Okay.
And then it goes into an congressional art competition. Taylor announced that his office is now accepting applications for the 2025 Congressional Art Competition. This is a special opportunity for high schoolers in Pickaway County to be recognized for their artistic talent at a national level.
Oh, good grief. So, of all the things that's going on right now, if this don't tell you...
That is what Rebecca Taylor, who we are really unsure who that really is.
Look it up.
But that is what she sent to the Circleville Herald for them to post in their newspaper.
Oh, so she told them exactly what to put in there. Oh,
yes,
okay.
And she sent
well, show that up here. And hold as still as you can there. And then if you want to, whoever, just pause it and read for yourself there. Hold it still there as you can for just a minute. Yeah, they're all liars. They're all liars, It's just like AJ there. You heard him admit it, out of his own mouth, that he's the one running things. They are.
He never denied it. He even said yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I kept... and there's no need to deny it because what I'm saying is a fact.
Yes, it is.
It's not like I have to prove anything. I already have. Go back and watch these videos that I've been putting out. It shows plain as day who's running things. And AJ and the rest of them. I'm going to tell you something. Honest to goodness. I really think there should be inquiries, special, it's going to have. That's what this needs. It better happen. We better get, special investigations done on this. Cash Patel and all the rest of them, they need Bongino, all of them. You guys really want something to work on? I don't understand. It's like they're downstream working on problems downstream, instead of saying, let's break away from this and go up here and get the voice of American people back in it. Because right now, the only way that you can have a voice is we're having to go around representatives, right? So if you call in there, Dave Taylor's office, our office that we pay for, but the one that, wait, I'm saying one. He's got 4 offices that we know of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then how many of these, we can't even determine how many staffers that we're employing. We don't know their job titles. We don't know what they're doing. Now, if you notice, AJ, Dave Taylor's boss, he didn't deny. I mean, he just, it was so true to him what I was saying that he didn't even flinch. He never even moved, did he?
Nope.
It's kind of like if you're telling somebody in the middle of the day that the sun shines out and stuff, you don't even bat an eye at that because it's like, well, yeah, it's daytime. You don't even stop to even think that, do you? You just go ahead. Tucker Carlson here has Kurt Weldon, and when you have millions of dollars, which is exactly what's happening all over the place here, you have people that brings in big money, and somebody is in your town, and you've known them for years and years, and they're the right person for the job, and then all of the sudden these nobodies that you never heard of, just like Obama, nobody ever heard of Obama. But then out of nowhere, Obama comes along, and boy, he's it, and everything's great, and he's got a plan, and he's solid, and by golly, he became president. I fell right along with all that garbage back then. But I found out if you're turning on CNBC and ABC, CBS, all of those, you are being guided right into the toilet, and you got to really watch what's going on now, because here's Kurt Weldon, and Tucker Carlson has him on now. Kurt Weldon used to be a senator for whatever state or whatever, but I'm just going to move along right now so that I get to this point. Okay, he's about ready to come chair for, in the government and so on and so forth. But the main drive that I want you to look at here is millions of dollars comes from California, direct out of California. George Soros, ? Anyway, out of California on somebody nobody even knew of to this guy's state, total different state, and wins the election. Listen for just a minute. Listen to that.
Covering it up. And then right on the cusp of becoming, tell me if I'm getting this wrong, chairman of the Armed Services Committee, the FBI raids your daughter's house, and you lose an election in which your opponent has funding from all over the United States. No one's ever heard of this guy. And all of a sudden, he's got more money, and you're out of Congress.
Okay, now, Tucker just said that he has funding from all over the state. Okay?
Congress. And I began to think, maybe this was a setup.
So he's got funding from all over the state, but it comes from California. So
I thought I would ask you.
Well, it definitely was. And you're always one of my heroes. I enjoyed your show with Paul Begala and when I did Hannah
many years ago.
All the others, and enjoyed. And I was always, I took my work very seriously. I'm a teacher by profession, youngest of 9 kids, firefighter, as a volunteer all my life, and that's my devotion even to this day. I don't get any money for it, but it's what I'm committed to. And why?
Now, you hear that? There's still to this day, he's a firefighter, so on and so forth. He don't take any money for it. He's wanting to make the country better. Those are the kind of people that we need in office. But here's the thing. How do you get the right people in office? When you have the staffers that are running things. And I am the one calling this out. The staffers are the ones that are absolutely... You can talk about judges or whatever else that you want to talk about, Mr. President. You can talk about all of those coming and going, and I know they're problematic, but here's the thing. Without having the support of we the people, whenever you had troubled times and stuff, you wouldn't have made it through that. But we knew that you was being bamboozled because they was trying to bamboozle us. Okay? So we have to fix this to where we don't have to go around the very place where it is that we're supposed to go to when we want something done. You know, we are supposed to be able to pick this up, a phone, and call the representative and get our message sent, you know, to Congress. But we got to fix this. Okay, so we'll be right back. All right, so I guess what I should do here is Kurt Weldon, okay, he dared to challenge the 9/11 ruling. So when they ruled that it was all terrorism or whatever, you know, but in this interview with Tucker Carlson, he actually flat out calls the 9/11 ruling from the government an absolute bunch of bullshit, you know, and it is. People that never even had any experience whatsoever with demolition or any kind of construction, you know, whether building or tearing down, or it didn't matter. I mean, I can remember even kids that was watching back then when it took place. You know, they said, you know, does buildings usually just fall straight in like that, you know? Now, this is all relevant to what we're talking about here, because I don't want to get away from the main problem, which is we have to fix. Our voice has to get to Congress. And it is being stifled by these staffers, which is exactly what's going on. The American people, you and I, don't have a voice. And you know, here's the thing. I understand. I really do. There's so many people that if you start talking to them, you can see like no time at all, because you're not talking about, you know, fishing or hunting or, you know, boating or whatever it is, or target. I don't know. Pick your, you know, luxury, whatever, your fun outing. And if you're not talking about something that's carefree, you know, then they don't, you know, you lose them. They don't want in it. And that's what I say. This is not that channel. This is not for the weak. This is for, you know, the brave and somebody that actually wants to do something on here, that wants to know what's going on. And the main focus is, if you threw away everything right now out of your mind and just know this, you cannot call what is your God-given right. And I would say that it's your duty to actually call in and tell the representative what it is that you want done. And right now, we've discovered what a liberal Democrat twisted virus that they have employed upon you and I. It's unbelievable how they've done this. As you heard with just talking with AJ, the staffer, mind you, like he didn't even catch on that, you know, I was like being, you know, like saying, yeah, you're the one telling Dave Taylor what to do and stuff. He didn't even bat an eye at that, because he knew it was true. Now, here's another place that I'm going to point out that the staffers are the very problem that we have to deal with. Just like an unruly child or something. But, you know, a child we love. But we don't love demonic stuff like this. And if people don't understand that it's demonic, let me explain to you why it is. people are losing their lives. That's demonic. Now, he's Kurt Weldon here is talking with Tucker Carlson here, and I want you to listen to what he says right here.
Background zero, and I did everything I could to, and I felt responsible. Do you know the 9/11 Commission would not let me testify before the commission? Now, I'm a firefighter. I'm a fire chief. I'm a state fire instructor. I spent my whole career helping protect people from disasters. The 9/11 Commission, even though my experience as a member of Congress, Vice Chairman of Defense and Homeland Security, would not call me to testify, would not call me to go in and speak before the 9/11, because they knew what I would say. So when the commission said it's going to issue its report, which was
pardon me, what year was that?
It was when the report was released. I think it was 2005. So what I did, the report was being released in the Ways and Means room of the Cannon Building. I went over. I sat in the front row to be the first one. Lee Hamilton and Tom Keene were up there. Good people. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
It wasn't them. It was the staffers that controlled this. It wasn't the commissioners.
Zelikow guy.
That's right.
Now, do you hear what he said? It was the staffers that controlled this. So, these staffers are not elected. And the staffers, when the Biden regime was in there, and part of it's still in there. And, that's a huge problem. But the biggest problem that we have is recognizing where, in fact, that's what I'm really, really discovering, is that the biggest task is to realize and find what the problem actually is. Because I was thinking, hey, the problem is, that Congress is not getting the message that we, the people, really want out there. Because I talked to several people, and still do, that says they don't do it. They don't mess with it. They don't want no part of it. Isn't that funny? But whenever we make things better for them, they grab that right up, don't they? Do you think anybody ever stops to say, man, I'm sure glad so-and-so did this, so I could do this? No. No. So, but, I'm going to tell you, this is something that I'm learning, that actually getting dialed in and focused to what the problem actually is that's hard to do. It's hard to do because you set out and you think, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, and I get knocked sideways every freaking time. If I think, okay, well, this is going to go this way, how many times have we thought, well, man, we'll just, call this person or whatever, and then it just goes to crap. Like calling in to the representatives' offices, Democrat and Republican, by the way, and you start talking with somebody, and they seem to have, common sense at first, and you're talking, and you think, wow, man, this person's really cool, and I try to be respectful and, that across the board anyway. But at long about the time you think, okay, this one here, because what was the one he actually, was reading back the message, and he was like a go-getter. And
I think that was Jay.
Yeah, was it Jay?
I think so.
Well, anyway, different ones. And then there was the girl that she did really good there. At first, she was real kind of meek and thought, oh yeah, polite voice and everything. And it wasn't no time when they find out that you actually know what it is that you're talking about, and that you want things done, then they become different animals altogether. And mind you, still to this day, none of them has called back. There's another guy also, I can't remember his name, but he actually done a thing where he called all the representatives, and I think out of all of them that he called, if I remember correctly, only one office called him back, and I don't even remember if it was the representative or not, but that's been some years back now. But anyway, yeah, you got to check out this interview. This is amazing on Tucker Carlson there, and Tucker Carlson does amazing anyway. But I am telling you, Tucker Carlson or anybody else, you can interview these guys and everybody else about 9/11 and everything, because this guy goes on, he's telling you all about the corruption. You just heard him say about the staffers, and that's my message, that I'm telling you that you don't have a voice. The only way that you get a voice is if you do this, like what I'm doing. You get you a channel, you spend hours and hours, lining up, getting ready to make it, trying to find the content to make it, so on and so forth. And then the editing that's involved is horrendous. And it's not an easy thing to do. Now, why am I doing it? Well, the future of the country will not make it if this ain't straightened up. Because this country it's your country, it's my country. And it revolves around what you want. This is a republic. It's not a democracy. It's a republic. And thank goodness for that, because we would have been sank a long time ago if that was the case. If you look in other countries that have democracies and stuff, you'll see exactly what happened, and what goes on with that stuff. But having a republic, you can be the minority, and, if you stand on it and it's the right thing or whatever, then you stand a way better chance of coming out, on top. And it's difficult sometimes to keep doing things like that whenever you keep going, you keep doing, and it seems like nobody's listening, But I'd rather have one person who's genuinely listen as to have a billion that just watches and don't really even care, I'm not saying that's the case on here. I appreciate every one of you. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. We got to fix this problem. We got to get it fixed, period. Tucker Carlson's doing his part. Kurt Weldon here is passionate about what he's doing. They actually, if you watch this, the FBI came and was it CIA or FBI?
I thought it was FBI.
Anyway, one of them comes and takes his daughter's belongings and stuff until after he loses the election. And then once he lost the election, they give his daughter back, never even talked to her, not one word. Gave all the boxes back to her, and they wouldn't even opened. Like she had them taped a certain way, and she remembered how they was taped and stuff. So they never untaped, never messed with, because he lost. Now, if he would have won his election, it would have been a different story, right? They would have opened the boxes and so on and so forth, but never even talked to his daughter. Never even spoke to her. I would say weird normally, but that's not weird. It's just normal. I think what we're going to do is wrap this up, because I really, really want the main focus to be on, we have to have something done about our voice being stifled. It's frustrating that there's so many people that they don't understand how important that it is to actually get out there and to call and be a part of this, because as you can see, if you don't join in, they'll just take over your spot, and they'll do what they want even more. So the more of us that participates, the more control that we have. And the less of us that participate, the more control they have. And I'm talking about the staffers, because just like the Biden regime, you know, for those of you that don't watch all that stuff or whatever, or maybe you do, but you had congressmen, Ted Cruz, different ones, and Mike Johnson. Boy, there's a freaking lug nut that needs to go. Yeah, that's another lug nut that's loose and rattling, and he ain't worth no. Anyway, Mike Johnson said that he kept going and trying to get a meeting with Biden, and the staffers kept blocking him. The staffers kept giving excuses. And then finally, according to Mike Johnson, that he just put his foot down and insisted that he get a meeting, which they didn't promptly, the staffers didn't promptly do, but they arranged for, anyway, so Mike Johnson and Biden, I'm going to tell you something. I have no idea why he's still in there whatsoever. That's Rhino, just like Dave Taylor. But anyway, listen to this. Here's what happened to Mike Lindell just recently.
So Mike Lindell goes to the border, and the Canadian border. He crosses over often to do business. And he's stopped and harassed by Canadian border authorities. I just want to break out in the song, Can't We Be Friends? Can't We Be
This is on the
Friends?
Common Sense show.
No, I didn't sing it well, but I'm sure you remember that, if you're old enough to remember. Well, this is terrible. Has Canada become our enemy now? We're supposed to let them abuse us with one-sided trade?
No, Canada is not our enemy. It's Justin Trudeau, and the same problem is taking place here as what's happening up in Canada. You have all of these people who are stifling the Canadian people up there. It's the same thing that's happening here. You got a bunch of rogue individuals that you all let go or whatever because you don't want to say nothing against them or whatever. And you know, it's real easy, isn't it? If you don't understand something to just, you know, want it to go away. Because that's usually what happens if you watch these lefties or liberals or Democrats. All of them's one and the same, right? They don't understand something. So instead of them taking, you know, a little bit of brain power, you know, so how you going to do that if you ain't got one, right? But anyway, instead of them taking a little bit of effort and actually learning, because what was his name? What was it? He just went and had the meeting with Trump and Bill Maher. Bill Maher just went and who was it set that up? Somebody. Oh, Kid Rock. Kid Rock was talking to Bill Maher, and Bill Maher was telling Kid Rock about how bad, you know, that he thought Trump was and everything. And Kid Rock said, well, have you met him? Have you actually just sat down? But anyway, so Kid Rock arranged a meeting, which finally took place just a couple days ago or whenever it was. And they sat down, and I might try to pull it up here in just a second, but right now, here's what happened. Listen to Mike Lindell. This is the way he was treated, just going into Canada to do business.
Hear Mike Lindell after he is detained for 2 hours. Listen to him tell the rest of the story.
I wish I had the papers. I didn't get them up to us. I was going to make copies and show people this lady, because I wanted to put her name out there. This lady had so much hate when she seen it was me. It was unreal. The hate that came up.
She had so much hate just seeing Mike Lindell. I mean, and I don't understand how you can hate somebody so bad. I mean, especially Mike Lindell, because he's one of the greatest patriots of our time.
Out of her it was absolutely beyond anything I've seen. We were detained a couple hours. They brought me in an interrogation room. She called me a criminal at least 20 times trying to get me to get upset. She goes, "You're a criminal. You're a thief. You're an assaulter. She just kept going on and on. And I'm sitting there going, okay, what's going on? Then she goes, "I know who you are. I know who you are." And I go, "But don't think I'm treating you any different than any other criminal." And I'm going, I'm quite sure you are treating me a little different.
Yeah, you are treating him different.
and that was about it. That's about as bad as it got where I said that. And she couldn't get me a rise out of me. I've been in terrible situations like this before. But she said, "You were not allowed to come into Canada, and now you're trying to break into Canada." This is what she's telling me. "We are going to keep you, detain you, and not let you leave Canada."
Okay, so anyway, and that's it did not want Mike Lindell. Obviously had a personal vendetta against him, you know. And this is supposed to be an officer, you know, for Canada. You know, working for you guys, you know, up there in Canada. And to treat somebody like that, you know, which Mike Lindell ain't done nothing except for tried to, you know, he's supported not just us, but Canada as well, too. As you just heard, he's going up there to do business and stuff. And you don't hear him attacking or saying anything, you know, about somebody that hasn't already, you know, deserved it. But anyway, that's where they're at. It's pretty sad, though. So if you're in Canada, let me tell you, man, we certainly appreciate what you guys are doing up there. I watched. I can't tell you, man. I spent I don't know how much time in front of the screen watching when the trucks were up there, and you know they was trying to stand up, you know, for Canada and the U.S. and everything, and then Trudeau cuts off their bank accounts and stuff, which, man, that should never ever fly. I don't care for whatever reason. That should not fly like that. If somebody is not doing something, you know, and all they was doing was parked there, you know, protesting or whatever, which everybody should absolutely have. That's a God-given right to do, is to protest, you know. But anyway, with that being said, let me see if I can pull up Bill Maher right quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm not no fan at all of Bill Maher, but just so that you all know, in case you don't know or whatever, Kid Rock set this up for Bill Maher to go and meet the president for himself, so he could see.
So meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president had said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did.
Okay, so anyway, that's enough about. Anyway, he goes on. He says that he met Trump and that he wasn't anything like what he sees Trump acting like on TV. That he laughed at all of his dumb jokes and stuff. But let me let you in on something. Okay. Dum Dum here made a joke about our president's dad. And he's so stupid that Bill is so stupid that he doesn't understand. You know, if somebody's like smiling, seems to take it all in stride, it's not going over well, I assure you. And I will show you a little clip of that real quick here. Be right back. All right, so here's what liberal-crat here. He thought this was a good idea. Remind you, he's. I'll just watch this.
He was even okay when I checked him on the orangutan lawsuit. He was. I know. He said to Dana White, Bill said my father was an orangutan, and I really love my father. And I said, well, Mr. President, I did that because I didn't like what you were doing regarding Obama.
So, it doesn't matter whatever else he says or whatever, man, he talked about, the president's dad like that, which was, completely out of bounds and stuff. I mean, you're at somebody's home, and it's not just somebody, but the most powerful man in the world. And you're at their home, and you're going to, I don't care if you want to call it a joke or not funny and not, some things are just, and that's the whole problem with liberal-crats is they don't understand, they don't care. Look, the first and foremost thing, it don't matter, they could change everything about them as long as they have the one thing where they are trying to unalive God's creations is enough right there. I don't want nothing to do with them. And let me tell you, Ohio is absolutely lousy with the Liberal-crats. It is a sickness and a disease. I'm completely honest with you, it's a battle that right now I don't even know if we can win or not, but I know it's a battle that we have to win. So, with that being said, I think we'll end it right there. So, God bless you and yours. We're praying for you. Love you, Lord. Love you, boss. Thanks for subscribing. Do whatever you can, thumbs up, whatever, show your support to somebody who's in this fight. But I don't know of anybody else that's pointing out this tremendous problem that we have. So, let's see how it plays out. Peace out.